Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest mouth out of all the mouths. You know that I've always had a big gob. Uh, don't forget to click the link in the comments section before we start. Human nutrient. Do you want to try that stuff? I feel fantastic on it, me. I'm just training longer and recovering quicker. Right, we're joined by Kent. Kent, you're a bit more up than me on this Muhammad Ali Act. So you've got the link. Do you want to read it out, Ken, or do you want me to read it out? Do you want me to read it out, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot there, Russell. If you just want to like
I'll
bullet
just read
point
the first
the
beginning of. We
main,
don't need to read all the lot because there's like about 18 paragraphs. But the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, commonly referred to as the Ali Act, is a federal law that was introduced in 1999 and enacted on May the 26th, 2000 by the 106th Congress to protect the rights and welfare of boxers, which is very important because boxers are not renowned for having brain power, are they? Majority of them. Number two, aid state boxing commissions with the oversight of boxing, free, increased sportsmanship and integrity within the boxing industry. Blah, blah, blah. Now, tell me about Turkey's involvement with this. What you think about it all, Ken? What do you think? Because the word is that they're going to try and get a few things changed, aren't they? Him and Dana White, so that they can monopolize it. Because you can't in America, you can't manage and promote, can you? In America, we all remember the Tim Withers
no, it's basically it's yeah. So basically, it was
to protect the box.
basically an act that was brought in by Congress to protect the fighters. Now, I always say, if you have a manager there who's managing you and you've got a separate promoter, the promoter's going to offer you a purse. So I'm talking in layman's terms. So say a fighter offers you 10 grand, say a promoter offers you 10,000 for a world title challenge, and you turn around and say, well, no, obviously the purse split is worth this, that will generate this. Uh, Purposely, I think it's worth 25,000. So you've got your manager there trying to get more money for you. So if you've got a promoter who is your manager, they're not gonna want to give you the most amount of money that's possible for you. They want to skim skim off the top and make as much for themselves. And that's what the manager's there to stop. That's what they're there to stop. So it was a part of Clark Frampton's case, obviously, with Cyclone that time that I don't know if it was part of the case, but basically at that stage that McGuigan was his promoter and manager,
A bit
which
like
obviously
Tim Witherspoon.
fell
Tim
down to
Witherspoon.
the Muhammad.
Tim Witherspoon were managed by Carl King, promoted by Don King, but Don King were calling the shots, wasn't he, constantly? And by the time Tim Witherspoon were getting his money, there were nothing left, was there?
Nothing. It was like minus money, and there was all sorts of things in there about, they had to charge a max amount for camps
Yeah, this is what they did it with Mike
and
Tyson as well, didn't they? Basically, the Kings have
everything. It was
people
just
off
just
for years, haven't they? Now, my argument with this in the UK is we have promoters like Eddie Hills, the 7-0 Iceman. He signs people and he tells them who to train with. Like he advises them to go to his trainers he's well in with, and he also advises them to be managed by Charlie Sims. Now we both agree on that. Now I think that's a conflict of interest because the promoters always pulling the strings, and it goes on in this country. We have Moses Atoma promoted by Bricktop, but yet Atoma's managed by Francis Warren, aka the housewife's favourite. That's like Don King, Carl King, and Witherspoon, in it. But none of this media want to talk about this. Now, Dana White's all for scrapping the Muhammad Ali Act. Now, it remains to be seen whether they get that sorted over there. And if they do, it'll be a free for all, won't it? Boxing.
a bit of a disgrace how all these YouTubers and mainstream boxing media who work on the zone and have, obviously access with the zone, and obviously Queensbury, who are now on the zone, aren't talking about this. And this is all down to obviously now Dana White is now going to be working with Turkey Al Sheikh. Obviously, he's going to be the promoter for this stupid fight. Not stupid, but the stupid event of Crawford and Kalano. Now, I'll break this down to you. So the biggest boxing weekend in America is Mexican Independence Weekend. That's the biggest weekend in boxing, especially if there's a Hispanic fighter fighting. De La Hoya used it. Obviously Chavez used it. All the great Mexican fighters used it and made a fortune off it. It was huge. So on the same night as Kalano and Crawford, you have a UFC event. So that means that they're actually going to go during the afternoon and fight. These guys have completely sold out. Obviously Kalano sold out. Crawford, was getting bigger money he's ever going to get. But if you were somebody like Kalano who was drawing massive numbers pre-peak time on Mexican Independence Weekend, you would say no. The fans will want to see it at this time, but it's been moved back, and obviously Dana White has went in and done a deal with Donald Trump to get this act scrapped, basically. So these guys can, obviously we don't know what way, the Ring Magazine, TKO, Endeavor are going to do this boxing league or whatever. But I think that's a massive conflict. I don't think the commissions should be allowing this. So they shouldn't. I think any commission in America should be saying, you know what, for you to promote in our jurisdiction, you need to adhere to the Muhammad Ali Act.
Yeah. What do you think about Atoma being managed by Francis Warren, though, and promoted by Bricktop, the dad? What do you think to that? Nobody mentions that, do they?
Well, he's the fool, Russell, isn't he?
Well, he can manage himself after 3 years of being a pro,
Well, there's probably going to be something in the contract that he signed that contract. There's probably something in that contract says that if you want to be promoted by Queensbury or whoever, you have to have a representative of Queensbury representing you. There'll probably be something in the contract like that.
It goes on. Most of the arguments when I worked for Big Ron were over stuff like this. Not just Big Ron pulling his own moves, but other people as well. And it's been going on for years, hasn't it, really? And nobody's going to stop it. That Muhammad Ali Act in America don't mean shit. The way around that is the promoter's just going to work with people who are his pals. They don't have to be his son's managing them. They get somebody else to do it, don't they? Do you know what I mean? Boxing needs a full overhaul because I can see Atoma getting his leg lifted down the line at some point in his career. This is why fighters need to manage it themselves. But then again, we have people like the White Rhino managing themselves and taking fights that they know they're not going to win, don't we? Because they get promoters putting their arm around them and filling them full of shit. That's my opinion. But okay, well, basically, what we're saying then, the Muhammad Ali Act that Ali were put his name to, it don't mean nothing. It's not worth paper it's written on, Kent, is it?
It is and it isn't. I think the good thing is there that it's black and white. Your manager, if you're stupid, if you aren't smart, you will look at it and you'll have an in-house, as you call, an in-house manager, an in-house representative. If it was me, I would basically have a family member go and register with the board, go and do what you have to do.
Well, like Ricky Hatton had his old man.
Oh, look how that all worked out.
I find that funny anyway. Pound Note Ray.
Yeah.
He can't help his thing, can he? Pound Note Ray.
Pound Note Ray, flip me, what a weapon he
was. Going
was.
to sign with Barry Epstein. Dennis rung up, says, I've got 300 grand here in a carrier bag. They went, we'll turn around, and Dennis says, yeah, put Barry on hold for 24 hours and I'll give you 300 bags. And that is on my channel if you go watch a few years back. In a carrier bag. There you go. Isn't that right, Ricky Fatton? Hey, another double deal where you You went behind somebody's back after agreeing a deal. Hey, like with Robin Reed, you fat cunt. Well then, Kent, we'll see you on part 9, the finale. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. So I'll get paid for that video with a big C word there. But, you know, these people in boxing, these men with the word made of oak, as soon as there's a few quid about, they turn. Remember, all right? It's the wild, wild west. I started that saying, but then we have people nicking it, don't we? But what can you do? Well, pop, pop, bang. Don't forget to click that pinned link in the comments section. Have a look at that. Share the video and subscribe. One booyaka.